Hello, I'm Billy Mazoya, co-founder of Cynefin Pamoja, and we are finalists for the KLAT Awards 2025 for Event of the Year for our Afro Hair Show.
Absolutely. What inspired us to create the Afro Hair Show, which was a first of its kind? We initially started with gathering feedback from within the community, particularly looking at young women and girls who saw that there was a lack of representation for their hair in the media. They saw a lack of representation in their schools, in their workplaces. So we thought, well, this is something that is quite an ambiguous topic, and actually how do we bring it under one umbrella to show people representation and to show them that actually having Afro-textured hair means a lot. There's a lot of significance in terms of hair and the power it brings with it. You know, we have different hair types, but equally hair has a very historic and a heritage meaning for many of us. For example, in the 1800s, the slaves used to braid their hair in cornrows, and they used to part their hair, and in the parting they would put grains of rice to ensure that they had sustenance when they went over to areas in parts of Americas where slavery had been abolished. So again, there's a real significance that hair is our heritage, and it's part of a lineage and something far greater. So we decided to embellish that idea and run with that. And in doing so, we had some really positive feedback from local people, people, for example, who were adoptive parents of children from mixed backgrounds, for example, who just didn't know how to, manage Afro-textured hair. So for us, there was a real niche there, and there was a gap which we thought we would fill.
I think one of the most powerful things from the day was seeing everyone together in unity and seeing people who had wanted to learn more about Afro hair, people in interracial relationships perhaps, that wanted to be able to learn more about the different textures of Afro hair, but weren't able to find those spaces and educate themselves. So seeing those types of people at the event, enjoying, feeling included, made me really feel like the work we were doing was valuable. And it was also helping the community, because for a long time now, we haven't had those spaces where Afro hair is celebrated or people are educated about Afro hair. I know there's a big push happening now with Welsh government with the Halo Code, but I think having an event like ours was able to bring people together and also ensure that people were able to learn and feel included and feel like they belong in that space for the celebration of Afro hair. Well, Cynefin Pamoja is all about belonging together. So everyone within the community contributed to our Afro Hair Show. We had stylists, local stylists, we had schools that attended with some of their pupils as well. And we also had people within the community who were volunteering and helping us with our catering and helping us and supporting us with the Afro Hair Show itself. I think the most important thing about Cynefin Pamoja is emphasizing that sense of belonging. Our word itself, the name, the title, the whole premises of Cynefin Pamoja means belonging together. Cynefin, the Welsh word for belonging and a sense of habitat. And Pamoja, the Swahili word for together, so belonging together. So when we had our Afro Hair Show, we made sure to include everyone within the community and make sure that everyone in the community felt that sense of belonging, and they felt that they could effectively contribute and feel part of the event in the event's success. So we tried our very best to make the event meaningful for people by ensuring that their expertise, their skills were not exploited. We showcased these different skills from the community to make sure people felt that they were appreciated, and they were able to also gain business and gain new customers as well. A lot of the stylists were able to attend and share their skills with different people who were interested in Afro hair, and now they've got new customers as well. A lot of these schools were able to learn about information and education about Afro hair, which they could then take back to their classrooms and teach their pupils. So it was a very good opportunity for everyone, not only to contribute towards the event's success, but to go away with takeaway points and learn and educate one another when we returned and when we left the event. So there was a lasting impact with the event's success.
Events like this are so important in Wales right now because it dismantles the stigma, really, and it dismantles the negative stereotypes that we do have around things like Afro hair, particularly in workplaces, for example, where we know that there are still policies that ban people from having natural textured hair, for example, or dreadlocks. As early as last year, we saw a report in the papers around the Ritz Hotel actually having a policy that unintentionally discriminated against people with Afro-textured hair. You know, these things can lead to large litigation cases. So it's really important that organizations, but community members as well, are aware that representation is key. Seeing is believing. You know, young people want to go into a classroom and see someone who looks like them. They want to be able to come to school with their natural textured hair and not feel this sense of, you know, arduous labor or this sense of being, you know, being an imposter and having that imposter syndrome. So for us, it was at the key of everything we did. It was showcasing that Afro-textured hair is part of our heritage, it's part of our community, and it's this sense of belonging and being your authentic self, irrespective of what society thinks.
So when I found out that we'd been nominated, I think we had just finished an event, and I just checked our emails because I'm always, you know, checking emails and things. So I checked our emails, and there it was, KLAT nominations. So very shocked, very blessed, very appreciative, because it's nice knowing that all your hard work, all the community contributions that you're putting in are being recognized, and it felt like we were really sort of appreciated. We were very appreciative, but I remember we were finishing up an event, checked my emails, there it was, the email from KLAT, and yeah, it was a very, very humbling and appreciative moment.
Being recognized as a finalist of the year for this event particularly is a real milestone. Cynefin Pamoja has been trading for just over 2 years, and we've won 2 awards. But I think this particular award, because the event was sold out, we had over 250 people turn out to this event. It was a first of its kind in Wales, not just in Newport, but actually in Wales. Now, we've seen other events alike, very similar in, you know, England and in London specifically, but this, we brought it to the fore, and we brought it in front of our community members, people who had been longing for such an event. So for us, this was the epiphany of everything that we wanted to do, and the turnout was tremendous. And as my colleague said previously, it wasn't just about how many people turned up to the event, but it was really the rippling effect and the impact that having such an event has had. It's led to us going into over 10 schools who are featuring hair is their crown as part of their curriculum. So for us, this is vitally important, because if we are able to cascade this messaging down to younger generations, it means that we're keeping something called posterity, which allows us then to go into the future with that sense of confidence and with that sense of real achievement that we've done something to change lives and to touch hearts and minds.
Firstly, I would have to thank Nkechi because she is co-founder alongside myself. And secondly, I would have to thank the community, because without our community, we would not have Cynefin Pamoja. The whole idea of our organization is to celebrate community and ensure that people within the community feel a sense of belonging. So I would genuinely thank the community, everyone who's contributed, from our volunteers all the way up to our caterers, to the sponsorships we've had from local government, councillors, anyone that supported us along the way. I would just be so appreciative of their support, and I would take my time to thank them in groups because I can't name everyone, but I would genuinely thank everyone who's contributed towards Cynefin Pamoja's rise to success and award nomination for the best event of the year. So that event took a lot of people's time and effort and spirit, and I think I just pause to thank everyone who contributed towards the event's success.
Yeah, I think if we won on the award night, it would be, it would be the icing on the cake. But in terms of who we will thank, because we've strived and we really struggled to get to where we are, the first person I'll be thanking is God for that ultimate strength and that real resilience and perseverance, because we were told it wouldn't happen. Many people told us that this is, it's too far reaching. You're not going to achieve this. There's not enough diversity in Wales, we often hear. There's not enough people who are on board on this particular subject to make sure there is longevity. And actually, we will prove them wrong. But equally, having that strength from God, looking after us and making sure that we're delivering on our promise is exceptional. And then finally, I would definitely want to thank our Windrush elders. They were there for us from the start. They've always contributed to this event and really bringing some of their stories as well as part of this, showcasing some of the challenges that they face, showing us that really not much has changed. But then on the other hand, a lot has actually changed. With us doing an event like this, it's really made an impact in terms of the older generation, the younger generation, and those in between, which is exactly what we wanted to do. And also, finally, thanks goes out to our community members, because once again, without them, it's very, it wouldn't have happened. And I think it's so important to have that allyship. And we've had a lot of allyship behind us, supporting us through this message, but equally saying to us that you can do it. And actually, if you do it, this is what's going to happen. And as I've said, we've created this rippling effect where not just schools are asking for us to go into schools now and to talk about this topic, but we're also looking at the anti-racism metaverse, which is part of the FE curriculum that was created by the Welsh government in Cardiff and Vale College 2 years ago. And we used the modules from that, which has a hair and beauty module. And we use that to complement this event. We have a video that we showcase to people as well. And it's just phenomenal to see the impact. And actually, as of last week, we have one of the hairstylists that we work with who's actually done a course at Coleg Gwent in combined hairdressing, and she's one of the first and only Afro hairdressers to actually be working, showing that representation again that young people need as part of the FE College, which is phenomenal news for us.